All right. Hello, Getting
Wow.
Shit Done group. Um,
Hey,
coincidentally, we're actually in the right screen. I was just looking because I was just uh, kind of teaching Radu, who is one of the facilitators in Italy now, how to use Restream, no StreamYard, and we just played with the graphics and everything, and like we just got lucky that the right background is on here. I think. How's everyone?
Good.
good.
Fine.
I know Emmy has a headache, I think, so don't scream into the microphones if you could.
Okay.
Other than that, she also has like a lot of good updates, I think, so it balances out, hopefully.
Those
Looking
are good
forward.
updates.
Some updates. Yeah. So we also changed or improved the platform. We now have an actual community platform we're using. And I wanted to make sure to touch on that real quick and see if there's any questions on how we are going to use that, or if that's pretty clear. Are you happy with that direction or not happy?
The only thing
I mean,
that I noticed, sorry, it's just that the posts are not sorted from latest to oldest, right?
They're not?
I'm not sure. Maybe when I posted the only post that I put there, it was the only one except for yours, and mine came second. So
Oh,
I don't
because
know.
that one's pinned. That first one is
Oh, I
pinned.
see. I see. Okay, got it. Yeah, then that's okay.
Yeah, because now there is Eaglet's Garments update as well. There's no update from Timo. Oof. Timo off to a bad start with this new group.
I know.
Fired.
I was I just joined today, so give me one more day to fill in my commitments and stuff.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, now I
but
see
yeah,
it.
I think what we should try, what you guys should try is try to make this the new habit, right? I think this is a little bit easier, a little bit more streamlined than what we had with Notion, hopefully, because it's just like, it's pretty much just like posting on Facebook or something, right? You post your update for the week, you talked about what you did last week. I don't know, put a video in there, put a logo in there, whatever you're working on. And try to have that in there before the call. And you can, of course, tag people and whatnot in there as well if you need feedback from someone specific. We will still have Slack as the main communication method as well. But we'll see how this will work. I kept it simple. I didn't want to impose a format you needed to update in. So this is why it's free text. You can add tables, you can add everything, right? It's a pretty rich text editor. And then as we go forward, let me know if something works, if something doesn't work, if you need more options, we'll make it happen.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Other than that, I would suggest we follow the same framework, go around in the circle, kind of get the update from everyone, questions, answers, feedback, and so forth.
Sounds good. So I volunteered to start. I have a little demo that I want to share. So hold
Do
on,
it.
share screen. So, oh, hold on, computer. Oh, it seems that do you guys see anything?
No.
You.
Oh, I need to leave and come back because I reinstalled my OS. So if someone else wants to go ahead, then I'll go second. I need to leave.
Yeah, I mean, I can quickly update on what I've done. It's really not that much, but as I told you guys yesterday, not yesterday, last week, that my motivation went a little bit down. But I think I've kind of managed, because I was able to fix at least I think like 3 bugs now that we we still had in the pipeline. So it's
good.
It's getting better. And yeah, I talked to Steffen, my teammate, already, like I think a little while back now, but he's still on vacation until 25th of May. So we said from then on we both should really like focus on getting it done. So I think I'll just, until he comes back, I will keep on improving the system we have already, and not work so much on the features that still might that still are a little bit pending here. And then when he's back, I really think we should get the thing out of the door, because it's not that much anymore. I think in my head it was a little bit kind of overwhelming, like, because I thought, there's so much to do, but now that I took some little break, let's say, working on the project, and just evaluated what's still open, I think it's really not that much. So I don't want to make a time commitment yet, and I still have the like when we can go live. But I'll have to talk to Steffen. But I think we're on a better track than I thought we were last week, because I was really close on giving up the project, unfortunately. And you guys convinced me not doing it, so it's good, I guess.
It was a great update.
Yeah, I
well,
agree. It's normal, right? We have those phases. It's normal.
Yeah, at least something got forward, so I'm kind of happy with that. And maybe I can start showing you guys the demo, or like maybe a video and stuff like that, and next week again. Let's hope.
So the only thing you should update one way or another is, I think, that date you have on the website.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And again, keep it simple, right? Either just say we are in closed beta, which is fine. No one knows if there is 100 or 1 person in closed beta right now. Or say coming soon, right? I think the only thing which hurts you, if someone looks and there is a date which is in the past, that looks kind of weird.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I mean that's for me. I guess there's not really much else to talk about right now.
Okay. So I'll see if I can share my screen. Didn't complain. Okay, so little demo, right? Co-starting. This is a new recipe, right? Now next recipe. Then you've seen this in the video. You add your ingredients A, B.
Can you make this full screen? Maybe it would be better.
Let me see if that's a good test. What happens if I resize? Oh, there you go. Okay, good. So yes, you add your parts of your recipe, right? Of course, I haven't played what's the best interface for this. We've discussed it and I wrote it down, but for now, I'm just sharing. Of course, no feedback, but the server here is saying, hey, this committed to the Firebase, the new recipe. And this is the ID. So now if we go into checking the rubs, now this is all the list of rubs, right? So as you see, I'm going for the simplest way right now. But I think that migration into Node.js and the interaction with the database is going. So I guess talking about the next steps, and really this is about the demo, right? So I'll stop it so that we can focus on the discussion. So really, to me right now, it's more like I changed a little bit. I think it's worth just releasing early to get the feedback. So instead of app, I think I'm faster doing a web app instead of an iPhone app, and just roll it out. Just open it, see if anybody actually puts in recipes. I'll, of course, as we discussed, also my own creations. I'll put them in for people to click on them and benefit from them. I want to add at least the votes to see if people like, and just that's it. Just put out the MVP and see how it goes. Then, of course, I think there are still some things, but I don't think these are MVP. For example, does it require authentication to upload a recipe? It would be nice because then you can do the attribution, meaning who created the recipe. But on the other hand, people will be reluctant just to sign in to add something, right? So I don't know. I think the MVP should be the basics. I think what I need to add, for example, is a timestamp and all this basic stuff, like when was the recipe created or edited and things like that. Even editing, I'm not worrying about editing a recipe. I just want people to, or potential users to go in, use it, and if they feel like it, add new recipes. So I think that's really what I want to launch, and I think that will hopefully happen in a few weeks, in a month, let's say. Of course, all this the pretty printing and the styling and so on. That will be the next phase. And I'll keep it very simple, but I think I have the core functionality that I want. And it's a really very, very simple idea. I think I'm really up for the building a community and see how this whether there's a market for it.
Yeah, that's cool. It sounds pretty good. How did it go with the Firebase integration?
Yeah,
Pretty smooth,
it
right?
was pretty smooth, pretty
Yeah,
straightforward.
it's amazing.
Yeah. They've done a good
Love it.
job.
Yeah, cool. So it seems like you can now focus on like building out your other kind of screens. You said you have like 2 or 3, right?
Right.
Because now you have like a very simple list. Of course, there's no styling and
Yeah.
such, and you have the like this graphic
Right.
thing. Is what else?
That's
what
it.
else do you want now?
I think that's it for the MVP. That will be it. When the landing page will be the list, and
Yeah,
maybe
but how do people put in a recipe, for example?
so maybe a
need a
button at the
screen for
top, add rub or something, right? And then
Okay,
you
yeah.
get redirected to the next page where you add it, and on success you go back to the list, and you see maybe the list sorted by when it was added chronologically, or perhaps by stars. Maybe a drop down option is like, how do you want to filter out? Of course, now there are so many ideas, right, that are coming. For example, is because I know what ingredients are in recipes. For example, instead of showing the list of ingredients, I could also add this dimension of spicy. Give me spicy recipes or sweet recipes, right? So I think also playing with these flavor profiles would be a unique way of searching for dry rubs. Because if you look for just ingredients, that's the traditional way, right? So we discussed that on Slack. It's like, so what's new about this app? I think relating ingredients to flavor profiles could be a really, in my mind, an interesting angle to dry rubs.
Yeah, that's really cool, I guess.
Yeah, I was just gonna reiterate on that question. What's the problem you're solving, right? Because I think you either have a really visually appealing and UX super nice kind of app, which makes this easy for people to share the dry rubs they're already using, and maybe they're just kind of trying to keep track of them themselves. But for that, it needs to be like top notch, right? Like looking and feeling and interacting. Or you're actually solving a problem where the style might not, make such a big difference. I'm a little bit afraid that if you're just launching it kind of, okay, this is something where you can put in a dry rub recipe and you can find them, but they're like, okay, they're there, kind of, nothing, no bells and whistles. You might feel like a little bit disappointed again because you're not going to get the traction you were probably going to expect right now.
Yeah.
And not to kind of finger point here, but like you had that kind of feeling before with, quick tests. So MVP, yes, but think about what you're launching, right? Like just launching for the sake of launching, it still needs to solve a problem or have kind of something which appeals to people. And as long as you're aware of that, I think it's fine. Unless you're still kind of trying to stay on that track. Okay, I just want to get it out there. I want to improve my skills, and then it doesn't matter if it takes 6 months for the first one to use it. As I make it better, looking better, feeling better, interacting. If that's your quest, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
If your quest is okay, I want to see 20 users in the first week, then you need to kind of think about what you're launching. Does that make sense?
Right. It makes sense. And I think I'm on this philosophy of look, I'm playing with this new technology, right? New for me, at least, to launch something for real. Because one thing is to play with it on your spare time. The other thing is to launch and maintain something. So I think based on the previous experience of this Garmin app for barbecue, so I just launched because it was useful for me, and so I learned to develop it there. Now it's been downloaded about 1,500 times. Really great feedback, and I've used that feedback to improve it further. So I think I like that way of launching something.
What?
So,
Sorry, what's been downloaded?
so
2500.
not part of co-starting, but about a year and a half ago, I developed this app for Garmin, right, for the watches.
Okay.
They have an SDK.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it's a barbecue app. It's a timer essentially, but it's customized to barbecuing, right? And then so that
Good.
was I would say a partial success, right? I guess build a community, and I've got good feedback. I pushed updates, and users are happy. So I think that's my pursuit here.
That's cool.
But I agree. I want to put out something that I'm happy with. I won't put it the way it looks now, obviously. So I really want to put some thought into what would be the best user experience as a first impression. I think first impression matters. And yes, there is still work to do. So I'm really giving myself that time before I just launch, right? I want to be happy with it myself, and then I'll launch.
Yeah. And I mean, again, right? Like, I think either direction is fine as long as you are kind of like, it sounds kind of weird, but like as long as you're at peace with what you're trying to accomplish, I think that's okay. Certainly, of course, this is not, and you're very open about this, right? This is not done, right? Like, you don't even know what features it's going to have, which is also very, very interesting, right? Like, that path, to be on that path, and then trying to get that first user, right? Like, whoever that is, and trying to get as much feedback from him or her, and then the second and third and fourth. That could be very rewarding, I think, and I think it's a good strategy.
Yeah. So I just there's a YouTuber that I follow, right? Really a great guy giving sort of how to cook recipes, right? But he has a lot of followers, and he recently posted this video on dry rubs, and I thought that was very interesting because his point is like, look, just make it yourself, right? And then and I think this dry rub me is really going in that direction, really open sourcing dry rubs. And I think there may be within a day of him posting the video, it had tens of thousands of views. So I probably okay, I need to plan this but to put a comment there and see what the reaction is. Try to attract his viewers into dry rub me. That may be a strategy. And see, right, at least even to see the spike on the visits on the website could be interesting to see. But again, experiments and then figuring out what the next step is. So yeah, good. All right, the progress. I'm happy with the progress.
Cool.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's me then.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let's see. I guess I'll share my screen with you so I can show you a lot of things. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you see it? Well,
yeah.
we see it,
No,
yeah.
I can.
Oh. Okay. So
We still only see. Oh, okay, yeah, good.
So this is what I've been working on mostly, is like this, like getting deep into my pilot and figuring out all the what ifs and the question marks and the I have like pre-pilot, during pilot, and then I've barely even dived into post-pilot, just in terms of everything that I want to get out of it, and everything that I need to have ready, because we were talking about getting a timeline together and trying to, oh, I forgot, if I go there, you see it, sorry. Getting a timeline together for the pilot and how this stuff is going to lay out. So that was a big part of it, getting all this down. It's not finished, of course. And I also, oh, there's only one more thing I wanted to show you in here, which is my logo. I can't
If you
decide
pull
if I
it up
want.
on the community platform now, it'll look better on the white, I think. If you have that open.
Well, but on this one, I said I was going to stop messing with it, and then I messed with it. And
But that looks really cool. But
yeah,
do you think maybe you can make it a little bit? How can I say? Not so detailed, because it has like a lot of details in it, especially, for example, the white on this continents. There are like some white sprinkles on it, for example. Maybe you could remove them,
Yeah.
or maybe you could remove one line, so you only have two. Maybe it works with two, maybe it doesn't, I don't know, because maybe,
Yeah,
it
maybe.
might not look like something. But maybe just try
Yeah.
to remove a little more detail, but it looks very good already, I think.
Okay.
So was this the winner of the logo contest? It's
Yeah,
not too bad. It's good.
You should show them, actually. I think this would be an interesting lesson for people as
yeah?
well.
Okay.
So the type of contest she did, you can choose to guarantee a winner or not, and there's pros and cons to both, but sometimes you might not want to guarantee it, and that's why I'm thinking it kind of would be a worthwhile lesson to show.
It says when you go through doing it, it's like you're gonna attract more people if you guarantee it, of course, because if you guarantee you're gonna pay somebody, they're gonna want to do it. And so I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, I want to pick somebody anyway. I want to have a logo. But yeah, they're really terrible. So that's what I typed, and
so I wonder. So in the prize was $25, correct?
yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
And so this is the one that actually won. And I messaged him and I was like, hey, do you think we can go back and forth on this a few more times? Because this is a disaster.
Talking about details.
Yeah.
I see. So okay.
And so this newest one is what we've gotten it down to now. But some of them are just ridiculous.
A lot of them basically just used her super crude mock-up and kind of colored it differently, or put like the name on it, right?
I put a screenshot of, and then these Chinese ones. I don't even know what that is. This is the image basically that I uploaded, just a screenshot of one that I had drawn. And a lot of people just like put the name in a weird font around it, or like put it on this weird display board looking thing, or just drew a completely new thing.
What is
anyway,
that even?
I just don't even know. Her hair is becoming the yarn. I'm not sure.
All right.
Not to make fun of people here, but like you see, you get varying degrees of professional designs, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, to be honest, it's $25 just. So
yeah,
but also what is interesting. So of course, all of these submissions are foreign, right, and not from Central Europe either. Now, whatever you take that, however, but some of them they submit like 20 versions, but they're all shit and no effort versions. So it's not like you spend 2 minutes each on 20 versions. How about you spend 40 minutes on one version and actually give it a shot? I mean, that's the difference, right? And
well, it becomes clear like when you do comment on it and tell them your feedback, and they don't take the time to be like, oh, she's engaging, she actually does see the potential in this logo, I should take my time and maybe I'll win the contest. They just do something completely different than what I even pointed out.
I mean, I had the same experience, like especially when looking for a logo, because I have already something in my mind and I try to describe it as detailed as possible, and then and usually I don't take the cheapest version. I take like something in the middle or the most expensive they have, because then I think I get a better quality. But that's usually never the case, because I don't know.
So isn't that perhaps maybe an opportunity for co-starting, maybe to connect to good designers? I mean, kind of word of
Yeah,
mouth.
it's interesting you asked that. So what Emmy and I actually probably going to team up, and I posted it in Slack the other day. So there is only a couple of different things you can do, right? If you're looking for design, whatever kind of design that is, you can either outsource it to cheap countries, right? Which is where those submissions come from, because $25 is still a decent amount of money for them. But of course, they're playing the numbers game. They're doing a lot of these contests, right? Because of course, the contest might have 20 submissions, and you have a 1 in 20 chance. Or you can find a dedicated freelancer and try to work with them. That's kind of the Fiverr model. Or you can hire someone locally, or you can hire an agency, right? Locally or abroad. But you still, like, the biggest problem is the communication, like them actually understanding what you truly want. And like Emmy just said, is, you know, they might not even take the time to truly understand. And clearly some don't. They take what you suggest as an example, an inspiration, and they put your name under it, right? Your company's name under it. Well, like, okay,
Yeah.
anyone could do that, right? So
yeah, that's why you should never give them an example. That's what I learned, at least. Like, whenever I gave them an example, I got the same thing back, just a little bit.
But
I don't
nobody
know.
would have come up with the thing just by me saying, like, knitting a yarn ball with the world inside of it.
Yeah, you need to give them a direction. And like, so I like these these contests because you get a lot, and then you just drill down with some of them, right? If some are even in the ballpark, then you need to give them very, very detailed instructions what to do. But at the end of the day, you are still the designer. You're just not executing the design,
Yeah.
right? So I think,
well, I actually like what we ended up with, so I'm happy. It's simple. It's the idea that I wanted, and I think it's more professional
right.
than.
And it conveys I think the essence of what you're doing.
right.
Yeah.
I also think it's good.
And so back to your question, Arki, the next stage of this is what we will probably do together, because we have 2 companies, well, 3 really, we're working on combined, and we're going to sign up for Penji, penji.co. And that's actually a company from Camden, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And it's a guy I know from my time in the startup community in Jersey. And it's like Design Pickle. You guys might have heard about Design Pickle. It's an unlimited design company, right? So you pay, I think, $500 a month, and you get unlimited designs, only one at a time, right? So once the first one's done, you get the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Now, of course, if it's just a logo, it might be quick. If it's a full app, it might take more than a month, right? Now, what's interesting, though, is that it's a company, right? It's an agency-ish type of subscription model where they vet their designers they work with, right? Like, so you have dedicated designers working on your stuff. It's not as cheap, of course, but if you have a constant flow of actual design problems, then it's worth it. I have never signed up for one of those, because usually it comes in like bursts, right? In the beginning, you need a lot.
Yeah.
You need the website, you need the logo, you need all of that. And then you don't. So if you can keep that up, it's worth it.
Okay.
But, you know, it depends.
No, okay.
It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, imagine, right? Like a designer, a good UX UI designer, they're also making $100,000 a year.
Maybe just pay $500 for them. Ask them for like cool designs, creative ideas you have. Give it to them, and then put the results on what's the site? Is Shutterstock, whatever, and maybe you get even more money from that.
Yeah, I doubt that. But
eventually, I mean, if you have a lot of pictures and you put them all of them up there, maybe you pay them, let's say 1 year, $500.
Yeah, but how many do you get? Like, you get, I mean, if you have very small things, maybe 1 a day. That's 30 a month, right? I mean,
but that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. There's better business models out there, Timo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I might try that. Why not?
Yeah, we will probably give it a shot. Like, once we start lining up all of our design needs over the next couple of weeks, we'll probably give it a shot. The good thing is you can just sign up for a month or 2, like however long you want, right? So there's no commitment. So it's nice.
I'll check them out. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually tried to sign up for their ambassador. No, not ambassador. What's it called? Affiliate program. If you guys are watching this, your site crashes there. There's an error on the console. I sent it to one of the founders on LinkedIn, but he didn't respond yet. So you guys' loss. I would have sent you so much business. Arky's basically signing up already. I can see it in his eyes.
They have a cool bear with glasses.
Yep. What else is going on, Emmy?
Oh yeah, I got more stuff to tell you about. I had 2 calls with people in like the senior living kind of space, and they were very interesting. I learned a lot of things. One of them was not my favorite. That's okay. He wasn't really getting it. But it still brought up a lot of interesting points, and made me think about things I hadn't necessarily thought about before. This guy these people that we talked to today they're at a senior living independent facility here, and they're super interested in having Gicklets Garments come and kind of introduce the idea to their residents, and just kind of put the feelers out there, see if they would be interested in knitting or crocheting, if any of them do that already, and getting involved. So that's cool. I had a feeling after I started kind of thinking about the seniors very deeply that it would be like that. That's one of the feedbacks that the first guy gave me too, was that like they're very skeptical and they want to connect with you like on a personal level before anything else. So you're gonna have to go in and kind of like make those connections and appeal to them in a real way. So that's interesting. I mean, that's basically it.
What was the feedback from, let's say, your favorite one? Because you had a call with 2. One was not the favorite, so I assume the other one was.
Well, no, the one that I talked about more was the good one, the one that
Okay.
senior living facility that did want me to come. The other one was a guy who has a company, and he was just very skeptical about the business.
Okay. Why?
And he said he didn't understand, like, leaving the entire senior part out of it, he didn't understand the product.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's just me not being great at what I'm explaining yet. I'm sure that's part of it. And he also ruffled me a little bit, so I was a little less than eloquent in the meeting.
Okay.
So I mean, but it was a good meeting, like founder to founder, kind of talking about issues that I might encounter working with seniors in that way. But yeah, he made me aware of a lot of things that I might hear from people who are more skeptical. So
All right, but that's great
Yeah.
too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's good experience.
Yeah, it was.
Sounds good.
And next week I have to I really want to get this rough timeline kind of roughed in, or at least start to. I need to become a better businesswoman in 1 week. So that's my
Why in
goal.
1 week?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Just 'cause that's our
mean,
next check-in.
better businesswoman means, yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean you need to be the best, just a little
Yeah.
bit better than you're now. So
Yeah.
that's That's good. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, one step at a time. I mean, you're doing the things you need to do right now, right? Like you need to have these conversations, like from every single one you learn, you get better. It's very normal. Like I think no one has, and on top of that, actually, even if you are whatever that is, the best businesswoman, then you will still have people who will not agree with you, who will not like your approach, who will not like you, right? I mean, that's fine. That's just how it is. So that's why we say, you will hear 100 no's before you hear a yes. That's what we say about raising money. And that I think is also true everywhere else in business. And if any one of you, right, like if you embrace that and don't let it get to you, it's hard. It's not always easy, not every day, right? Sometimes it'll put you down, but then just get up the next day and be like, all right, that's fine. On to the next one. Right?
Yeah. I mean, and it's not so much, I don't even, like, I understand that people are not always going to get it and will say no and stuff like that. It's more like today, it was discouraging for me because like Sven was on the call with me and I just felt like he was explaining it and representing it so much better than I could. And like, I was just kind of like, yep.
But that comes from the experience and learning.
I know, but it's like, it's just a whole new thing, and it's a lot too.
Yeah. But look, I feel exactly the same way, right? About others. Like sometimes I'm like, and you didn't hear this, right? Like, don't repeat this. It's not live or anything, but like it's the same thing. Like you always feel like the others are better, right? And you don't know their story. Well, you know my story, but it's some people are better at faking it, right? Some people have more experience. Some people are more natural in certain situations. But again, none of this matters because at the end of the day, it's what you're building which actually truly has value, which will make the biggest difference for your business. And it will accelerate if you find more people who buy in and kind of help you along the way. But your main focus should be on building something of true value, right? And that will always prevail. So I don't know. Don't get hung up on it.
Right. But I also think maybe the other call is where things start getting interesting, because that also, if you go and interact with the senior citizens, the senior living, I don't know how they are called, but I think that will be really interesting, right? And then you will really gauge whether these guys are open to do it or not. And I think that's I think rather than focusing also on this experience, which is good. I mean, maybe didn't feel right, but I think also the other call, it's also really good. I think that's really good. Just getting the invitation to come and talk and engage and also get to know them at a personal level. I think that's really good.
Yeah. And the first one, by the way, right? Like the first one with a senior living facility already is open to kind of setting up like an explorational event.
Right. And they said this is an interesting aspect of it, that all of their people they do volunteer work. They don't want to work for money. So that even is bringing in a different kind of route for our giving back,
That's really interesting. And when you were saying that, I thought, so, every year I think there are more kind of storms or tornadoes and hurricanes that happen, and there are needs to to send supplies to different parts of the world. I think I guess that would be another angle to this, right? If these people would be willing to contribute to this cause, would be interesting. The question there is, how do you commercialize something like it?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Or if it's like, if we work with some communities that are affluent and want to do it volunteer based to benefit the other people who are a part of the Giglets Garments community who are doing it to make money. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I think again, the donation angle or the doing good is of course on your core value. And I think it doesn't matter how that manifests, right? I think for some people it might be, it's a good argument. It's like, oh, I'm knitting, which is what I like doing. The proceeds are going to get, half of the proceeds are going to get donated to my favorite charity, and I'm gonna save stuff from the landfill. That's great. That's better than just writing a check to whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. We had when I worked at the nature center, this sweetest old woman mailed in this box of these little hand knitted bird nests that she for like baby birds to be like nurtured back to health in, but we didn't even do that. And I was so sad because they just kind of bounced around for months. Like, what do we do with these little orphan bird nests? You know, and she like put so much time and hard work into it. And I'm like, you're donating those to someone who needs them because this woman worked hard. Anyway.
That's gonna be a problem for you. Like you're gonna connect with every single senior, who is working for your business. All of the stories you need to write about them.
Mm-hmm.
That's good personality, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, but that's cool. I mean, you give them also some sort of purpose, let's say, because I assume most of them they're like alone. Maybe don't have even like kids that visit them or whatever, and yeah, so you're giving them something good to do, and
yeah,
they
they're
feel
like
valuable.
very big on those like little activities, and having different community groups to get together and do whatever, So
Yeah, you could organize hackathons.
knitathons.
Knitting knitathons.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, knitathons.
Let's all together knit a really huge blanket, or I don't know. So they sit like in a row and everybody knits on the same thing.
I mean, we could do like, silly marketing publicity things like that, Let's knit something for
the Guinness World Records. Knitting the world's largest blanket in 24 hours or something like this.
Made of repurposed materials.
Sven is Googling it. What's the world record on that? Yeah, of course.
I guarantee you there is one.
Probably.
Yeah.
The largest hand knit blanket, not crocheted, is 3,952 square meters.
Wow.
Holy shit.
That is, for everyone who doesn't understand square meters, 42,541 square feet.
Oh, we're not going to do that.
Why not?
Because that's really big.
Yeah. So?
We would need like so many old people.
Or maybe you just need a baby that keeps knitting until it's old.
Okay, but we could do like the squares, and then we could have, it could be like this year-long thing, and knit the squares, and then we have a big event where we sew them all together and we construct this world's biggest blanket.
For example. Yeah, perfect.
So
it's pretty big. Look at this link I just sent you guys. It's like a stadium full. And it sounds like it was done. I don't know if this date they listed is the finishing date, or if that doesn't look like it's done in one day.
No, but that's doable. Yeah, that's probably not done in one day. Come on.
Unless it's literally like 10,000 people.
Holy crap.
But that's cool even.
Related articles. 1,000 knitters from 32 countries creating world's largest knitted blanket. When is this? Yeah, we're totally going off a deep end here.
you can even make it better. You give you get like 10,000 people that commit on like knitting a small piece, but you make a huge design already, like for the whole blanket, and then you just give them a sample that they should knit, like a very small section of the square, and then you knit it together, and then you have a huge picture. Then it's not that random. It looks pretty cool then.
Yeah, and we could do like, this is the amount of textiles that you would throw away in 6 months.
Yeah, now you have
Look
a huge
at the size
picture.
Of this blanket we made.
Maybe it ends up at the Knitting Museum in New York. Who knows?
Well, that is might be a little bit further down the road, but it is an interesting marketing idea, right? Like you have this gymnasium full of like just t-shirts, right? Like there's tons of t-shirts, like metric tons of t-shirts in the middle, and then you lay it out like after it's processed into yarn and made into this big blanket. That'd be crazy.
And I bet
but then what do you do with it?
there is probably no world record on it. Like the world's biggest, let's say, upcycled thingy. Like how many t-shirts can be made into like the biggest blanket, whatever. So that's a cool idea.
And then we could deconstruct it down into the squares, so they're regular human-sized blankets, and then donate them to the homeless. And get even more publicity.
Yeah.
Or you get 10,000 homeless people in that hall where the blanket is, and they just use it all together.
So I think this is stage
together forever.
Like you probably want to get any knitters on your business first, right?
Yeah.
And then as your knitting community grows, you could have annual contests with of course noble causes, right? But yeah, I think you guys are onto something there.
Yeah, that's cool. You could make a fundraiser, kind of. So people donate money, you give like, let's say, 90% to a good cause, and like 10% goes to the winner of that contest or something like this, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah, once your business is actually up and operational, I think there's a lot of opportunity for stuff like this.
Yeah, it's really cool. Man, I wish I was able to knit.
You could just move over here and just help me with the business stuff. That would be fine.
Awesome.
That sounds really good.
Anything else?
Excited about your project now. It's really cool.
Or you other guy, you too.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if anything else you guys want to share.
I'm fine.
Yeah, it's a good start. Good start for this group. So let's keep going.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Anything? We started this in the other peer group, which we kicked off now, the Italian peer group. They're not live streaming; they're keeping it private. But we're starting to do something which we learned from Techstars a couple years ago, which is everyone shares like one good thing and one bad thing that happened in their week, primarily towards business, but can also be something personal. You guys want to do that? It's usually pretty fun.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Let's try. I mean,
Let
not
us start,
right
Timo.
now, right?
Yeah, we are starting right now.
What? No, I don't want to start. I have to think.
It doesn't have to be something special. Just small things, little wins, you know?
Bad thing. Yeah, okay, well, okay. A bad thing is not related to the business now, but let's start with the good thing. I mean, the good thing is I kind of got a little of my motivation back at least, and could keep going with the product. And the bad thing is that Bitcoin crashed so much yesterday. But yeah, that like I said, not business related, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, that's considering you have millions of dollars in Bitcoin, that's a pretty bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Cool. All right. Like, pick who goes next, and we'll go for like this.
Oh, Emmy, go ahead.
Oof. A good thing. I mean, there's a lot. I'm trying to think of something new. I made this really cool coat. That's not really related to my business now, though, so never mind.
No, it is. I think it is.
Okay, I made this really cool coat out of a quilt, and it's beautiful. And I'm going to make more quilt coats and make them. That's the more high-end side of my creative process. Yeah, and I posted it in a Facebook group, and it's got like 250 likes, and everyone just loves it. Bad thing.
No one bought it yet.
Yeah. No, yeah, literally nobody bought it yet. That's a good bad thing. I didn't sell anything this week because I've been kind of focusing on the new angle. So that's my bad thing. Arky, why don't you go next?
So good thing is that I have the little demo, so that's the motivation to keep going. The bad thing is really that I didn't work on it too much, right? I mean, I guess the migration took a couple of hours and that's it. But it's also interesting that once you stop procrastinating and do little things, you can make big progress. And and really, I think that's the takeaway, right? So it's just dedicate some time, put the effort, and even if it's 2 hours, you can make a difference. So I think, yeah, that's the bad side, that I didn't really spend too much time on it, but I'll try to correct that.
Yeah, that's really true. I like that learning. I can sit in front of the computer all day and get nothing done, but sometimes I can just take half an hour, and if I know what I want to do and put my mind to it, then
yeah,
I get more done than I can in a whole day.
Right.
Nice. So Sven,
Cool.
why don't you go next?
Sure. Yeah, the good thing obviously is that we start. That's exactly what I said on the peer group, on the Italian peer group too, is that we started an Italian peer group, and we have an Italian facilitator even. So we are expanding internationally, which is awesome. Yeah, of course, very small, but super stoked about that. Really good group too. Everyone was super excited. And the bad thing. From a business perspective, I guess the bad thing, it's not really a bad thing. It's just something I came to grips with, because you guys heard me talk about this a lot before, and like, how do I monetize? How do I get co-starting, sustaining, self-sustaining, all of these kinds of thoughts. So what I decided actually is that I'm going to give this more time. And I'm going to be okay with it. I'm still working on being okay with that, but I'm going to be okay with this taking longer and slower and more organically. And I'm just going to contract in the meantime. Like, I'm lucky that I work in an industry where that's possible. So I'm just going to contract work for software development on the side, and like roughly half, hopefully ish. Funny enough, the employer now I'm starting with, this contract, they already said we started with 20 hours. The guy I'm going to work under said, I'll put you in for 30. If you want to work more, that's fine. I'm like, well, all right then. So we'll see how that goes. I only committed to 20. But it's good to know that I have that option, right, to bring in some more money to pay designers and stuff like that.
Great.
It's nice. So now you named 2 good things. What's the bad thing?
Well, again, the bad thing is that it's going to take longer, right?
Just kidding. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. It's like it actually, I choose to look at it this way, right? Like, it's easy to look at bad things and they're bad. It's like, oh my God, it's going to take forever. It's never going to take off. I could choose to do that and just bury my head in the sand. But that's not going to help, right?
Of course.
And don't get me wrong, it's not easy to be as optimistic every day, but that's just how it is, right? And like, I mean, you make your own day, right? I listened to a good podcast the other week where end your experiences on a high. I'm probably butchering this now, but it was something like, you can't control the peak. So I think everything we remember from events or experiences is like an average between the peak and the end. Like, that's just psychologically, I think that's proven, right? Like, so you have like whatever the peak is of a certain experience. Let's say you go to a soccer game, whatever your peak was, your subjective peak, and however it ended, your overall feeling about that soccer game will be the average of the two, not of anything else. So
that's true, actually.
You can't control the peak, but maybe you can control how it ends, right? At least how you feel about it. Right? Yeah. You can't control how the game ends, but you can control how your evening ends, for example, right? Like, are you going to be pissed off that they didn't score? Or are you going to be cheerful and happy, and maybe you're going to go have, a nice dinner with your wife after the game or something like that, right? And
but you could also make a different peak. Like I could just eat an ice cream, and now that's the peak of watching the soccer game.
For you, it might be, but
Sure.
not for everyone.
Sure.
Just eat ice cream all the time, and your peaks are going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it's not a peak anymore. Then
Yeah.
comes the different flavors.
Depends on the experience, right? Like what kind of experience. But
Yeah,
I thought that was very, very interesting. And that's such an easy thing to try to do. Again, we will not all be always able to impact that. But I think like these little things to try to kind of shape how we look at the world and how we feel about the world, they really go a long way.
I think it's interesting too, thinking about the people that you're speaking to that don't know that the ending is where they're going to be most influenced. So always try to have a nice, solid, impactful ending when you're meeting with someone, and it's going to change the overall opinion.
Yeah. So always give them $100 when you leave.
Yeah.
They're gonna think you're the best.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, that's really interesting. It's a good takeaway from this call. That's a peak for this call.
And the
end at the same time.
The end, yeah, it's amazing.
Good,
I'll send you guys the link to this podcast, which was nothing about this topic actually, but they talked about this for quite a bit, and I really thought that was interesting. There's a lot of psychology behind this. There's a lot more behind this than what I just regurgitated. But
cool.
All right. Good. So see you next week, guys. Thank you.
Awesome. See you next week.
Yeah.
Keep it up, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.